Hello, ladies and gentlemen. If you don't know who I am, my name is Shook. I make videos for NBA, I make videos for NFL. All these videos, they get posted on the subreddit. I'll just have a link to this down below. It's very important because I make updates with all the news that comes out throughout the day. Anything you need, you can ask me questions about the slate leading up to lock. I'll be in here answering all your questions, all that good stuff up to lock. And yeah, I'll make updates with all the news, all the good stuff. So that'll be linked down below. If you ever need to get a hold of me privately, you can get a hold of me on Twitter right there. All right, let's get into my lineups from tonight. I guys show you guys my results every single night, and it was another bad one. I'm on a really bad downswing the past 4 or 5 days or so. I cashed 2 days ago, but since then, it's been pretty bad. But that's how DFS goes, guys. That's how DFS goes. And I was on pace to have a massive night 2 nights ago, and Joel Embiid dropped a 25 bomb. But my core nuked. Jonathan Kuminga was a core play. Josh Hart was a core play. Dante DiVincenzo was a core play. Jalen Brunson was a core play. One of the better cores I've had of the year. And Joel Embiid just wasted the absolute nuke. So unfortunate. Let me know what you guys think. I think personally the NBA needs to do something about their eligibility rule because I don't think a lot of people realize it's not just about in season rewards. These guys have a lot of contract incentives or bonus incentives or whatever for these rewards and stuff. Like Tyrese Halliburton, if he makes, I forget what it was, I forget. He has like a $50 million incentive for this stuff. So like these guys are playing injured, which is completely wrong. They should not be playing injured. They should be sitting. But if you have, $50 million in contract incentives, I completely understand wanting to play. You have Halliburton playing on the limit. You have Joel B playing clearly injured. NBA needs to do something. They should just sit. Nobody should ever play injured. But I can't put myself in their position, right? I am just an average Joe. These guys are NBA players in peak physical condition, but yeah, hate to see that stuff, man. Tonight, Jamal Murray sunk me. My core for tonight was Jamal Murray, Kawhi Leonard, um, um, Jaden Hardy, and then I told everyone to play one of DeAndre Jordan or Peyton Watson, whoever started. That was Watson who started. He got into foul trouble. So we still had some good nights in Discord, but yeah, I've just been getting brutal luck with foul trouble, blowouts, injuries. Just one day, man, one day when I don't have an injury, hopefully I'll have a good night. But yeah, 3 nights ago was really good. I thought I was gonna have a big night yesterday, but nothing you can do about it, man. That's not just how DFS goes, right? All right, let's get into this little 4 game slate. Going to make this a 5 minute long video. We got LeBron, we got Anthony Davis, questionable. Now both play. Nothing really stands out to me. I would say LeBron probably be a bit overpriced. Anthony Davis himself, I mean, it would be solid at 10K. We know he clearly has a ceiling. Not the best spot going up against Boston, but probably has one of the higher ceilings on the slate. With the spin ups, like we have Embiid out, LeBron's overpriced, you have Donovan Mitchell with the team healthy. I would say, other guys look a bit better point per dollar. Like, I really like Brunson. I think Maxey, if he plays in no limit there, he looks great. I think Tatum is a pretty good play going up against the Lakers as well. AD looks good. Like, yeah, we have some spend ups on the slate. I think some others might look a little bit better point per dollar, but he's definitely up there as, a good spend up on the slate. I have no issue playing him. Now, with them in, if they're in, D'Lo at 7-3 would probably be priced right. Normally, if he doesn't get benched, this is a rare occurrence of late. But ever since he's been in the starting lineup, he's been playing 40 minutes a night. He's been producing very well. Now, since it's a small slate, you could definitely consider him on a bigger slate with both these guys in. I probably, in my one lineup, wouldn't be prioritizing him. But on a smaller slate, I could understand it. I think he's fine as like a filler play. I don't love it. But yeah, definitely priced right there for D'Lo. Austin Reeves should play around 30 minutes. About a fantasy point per minute guy. I think he's reasonable if those two guys are in at 6.2K. Nice eligibility with the shooting guard as well. And then if everyone's in, the value, it's just gross. Prince, we know the drill with him. She'll play 25 to 30 minutes, just fine. With everyone in, Jackson Hayes becomes unplayable. I'm not going to play. I'm not going to play Wood. Vanderbilt, I will say his minutes have been really, really solid of late. This I don't know if it was probably because of the matchup here against Warriors, but he's been playing low to mid 20s minutes, mostly pretty much every single night. So like he's in play. I would say he's probably priced right now though. And then Rui should see high teens minutes, another just fine value. Decent point per minute. Just like, okay, fine. Fine last piece in. Now, if we get a situation where both out, then we're going to need some Lakers. Then D'Lo's going to look amazing. Then Austin Reeves is going to look amazing. Then the value is going to look here. I would assume the starting lineup would be something like D'Lo, Reeves, Rui, Prince, and one of the bigs, Jackson Hayes, I guess. If that's the case, like I said, D'Lo looks amazing. Reeves looks amazing. Prince would be fine for value. He doesn't really change too much, but would be solid. Gets a bump. What else? Rui, I would absolutely love for value. The bigs, if they start Jackson Hayes, would be a solid value. I would prefer Wood over him, but both would be solid values. Jackson Hayes just really bad point per minute, but yeah, I would prefer Wood there. But like I said, Prince would be solid. There would just be a ton to like here if both these guys sit. Now, if we get a situation where Anthony Davis is out, like the other night, and they go with that same starting lineup with Jackson Hayes in the starting lineup at the 5, then LeBron's going to look like a solid spend up at 10-4. He would still be probably, priced right with AD out. But D'Lo, would like him for tournaments as a bounce back candidate. He was giga chalk here going up against Atlanta, albeit a better spot. But normally, with one of these main guys out, he is going to be a really, really good play. And if his ownership drops because of that, I'm fine going right back there. So I like D'Lo if one of these guys sit. We're going over if 80 sits right now. Reeves, I think, would be a really good play at 6.2K. He'd just be too cheap. He's a really good play at that slate as well. So would like Reeves a lot. And then we get into the value. Like I said, Jackson Hayes would be solid. I would prefer, like I said, Christian Wood. Both would be solid values. Rui gets a bump. He'd be decent. Vanderbilt would be more in play. And Prince is fine. I think that's it. So keep an eye on the news. Could open up some stuff. Moving on to Boston. So really good spot here. I really like Tatum for tournaments. I don't know what his ownership's going to be, but sub 10K Tatum, going to play close to 40 minutes, doing everything for this team. Good, fast-paced spot for him, going up against the Lakers. I checks all the boxes, especially if he's going to be low owned. Then I'm really high on him for tournaments. So, yeah, I do like Tatum today at 9.8K. I think Brown's too close in price to Tatum, where I think I'd rather just play Jason Tatum. Porzingis. So if AD's in, it's a pretty tough spot. He would just be there for me. Now, if we get a situation, where AD's out, then I think Porzingis is pretty solid at that price point. Just going to be a cake matchup for him. Derek White, Drew, they're all fine filler plays for me. I would say Drew probably looks a little bit better point per dollar, but I think both are decent options just because it's a small slate. I don't think I get that much else here, though. Moving on to the Pacers. We have Halliburton questionable. We have Mathurin questionable. We have T.J. McConnell questionable. We have Jalen Smith questionable here. All right, if we get a situation where they are all out, then Pascal Siakam, it's not a good spot here going up against the Knicks, but Pascal Siakam will have to do everything for this team. He'd be their go-to guy. He'd be solid at 8.4K. Miles Turner himself at 6.1K. Minutes have not been great of late. He's always invaluable, more of a tournament-only play for me. But getting to this value is where I would really like. So, like, if all these guys are out, Nembhard at 5.5K would have to play a ton of minutes. I'd like him quite a bit. Neesmith will have to play a ton of minutes. He had a really big game last game, but he'd be solid at 5.4. Buddy Hield would have to play a boatload of minutes. I'd really like him at 5.2K. Even consider, an Obi Toppin, but like Ben Shepherd will get the backup point. He would be in play for value as a flat min price option. So yeah, it'd be a lot to like here if all these guys sit. Now, if everyone's in, there's not much here. Halliburton's been on the limit. Siakam would be a downgrade. Miles Turner's just there for me. I'm not going to pay 5.5K for Nembhard. Neesmith's been playing incredible. He's in play regardless and playing huge minutes. They really trust him right now. So being in play regardless might go a bit over-owned because of the last game. And then one of the wings, two of these, Buddy Hield, Mathurin, one of them will probably have a big game at their current price points. Just trying to figure out which one it's going to be. It's tough. Now, if Mathurin's out and Halliburton's in, then, I feel a lot better about Buddy Hield. 36 minutes last game. Had a decent game, too. So, would like Hield. Neesmith would get a bump. He'd have to play big minutes. and don't think I get much else. Obviously, Ben Shepard would be able to play them. Now, if we get a situation where I think I went over all of them. Yeah, I think I went over all of them. So I think that's going to wrap it up for the Pacers. Let's move on to the Knicks. Good spot here. Got to keep an eye on OG Anunoby and Quentin Grimes. Pretty important news here. Probably the biggest news of the slate, or one of. Well, Lakers. They're all very, very, very important. But Jalen Brunson in a really good spot, pace-up spot, going up against the Pacers. Don't know why he should be like a 10K player, maybe a little bit higher, honestly. So like I absolutely love Brunson, even at that price point with no Randall. His use is just through the roof right now. Still really, really like Brunson at that price point. We'll keep an eye on OG. If OG's in, I still think Hart and Dante are very, very safe, and we'll also keep an eye on Grimes there. If they are, if OG and Grimes are in, I still think Hart and Dante are playable at that price point. So keep an eye on OG as well. What was his injury? Elbow. If he's not on some type of limit, he'd have to play big minutes. He'd be a solid play in the mid-range. Precious Achiuwa would be out of play for me. If OG's in, then we'll keep an eye on Quentin Grimes. Grimes would still be a solid value regardless. Like, he'll have to play decent minutes anyway. And then I don't know if I get too much else. Now, if we get OG and Anunoby out again, but Quentin Grimes in, then I still think Dante and Josh Hart are still too cheap. I still really, really like both at their price points. They're both playing over 40 minutes a game right now. They're both over a fantasy point per minute guy with Randall off the court as well. So I still like Dante. I still like Hart a lot, with OG and Anunoby out. So, and if Quentin Grimes plays, he's going to stand out as one of the better value plays on the slate, especially if OG's out. And then, if Quentin Grimes is out, I'm not sure what they do. They could play Miles McBride, or we could see like Evan Fournier. So keep an eye on that news. I'll make updates on Reddit when we do get that news. And then if OG's out, Precious Achiuwa is a solid option at 5.8K. Just going to play huge minutes, man. They're going to run a really, really tight rotation. So if OG's out, I'm pretty high on the Knicks here once again. So keep an eye on that news. Moving on to Cleveland. Good spot here going up against Memphis. Even with everyone back, Donovan Mitchell had an incredible game. I'm not going to say no if you want to go to him. He's their clear highest usage guy. I would say Brunson probably looks a little bit better. Same position, but Donovan Mitchell will probably be lower owned. But yeah, I definitely do prefer Brunson. Jared Allen, I kind of want to see what he finished with tonight. 30 minutes, 32 fantasy points with Mobley back. Mobley's back this game, but Mobley's on a limit as well. I still think he's very, very safe. Going to play close to 40 minutes. With Mobley on a limit, it still does help Jared Allen, right? So I have no issue with Jared Allen, so he should be able to feast as well. Garland on a limit, so hard to go there. Evan Mobley on a limit, also hard to go there. And then, with everyone back, it hurts Strus priced right, LeVert priced right. If you want to go to like an Isaac Okoro, it's fine, but don't love it. So, yeah, pretty easy team to talk about. Let's move on to Memphis. This is probably one of the tougher teams to talk about because we got Derrick Rose doubtful, we have Luke Kennard doubtful, we have Conchar questionable. So they could do a number of things here. If Conchar's out, they could keep starting Pippen. So they could do Pippen, Jaren, Vince, Aldama, Tillman, or they could go back to Jaren at the 5 and move Roddy back into the starting lineup. They could do, and then if Conchar's in, they could start Conchar at the point, move Pippen back to the bench. So like it's kind of tough to say right now. This is what I will say though. If Luke Kennard, they're doubtful, so they're going to be out. Assuming Conchar plays and they keep Conchar in the starting lineup and they start. So Conchar, Aldama, Vince, Jaren. So Conchar, Aldama, Vince, Jaren, Tillman. Say they go with that starting lineup. Then Conchar would be playable at 5K, probably priced right though. Vince at 6'4" would be very, very safe in the mid-range. We'll see if he's on some type of limit as well. He's been out for a couple games now with a knee injury, but assuming no limit, he's very, very safe. He's been, producing really, really well. He's playing huge minutes. Good rebounder, can stuff the stat sheet. What else? Aldama, I really like at 5.6K. Another good producer that I think is a bit too cheap. Tillman, assuming he starts, I would expect decent minutes from him. I like him quite a bit. What else here? Roddy, no thank you if he comes off the bench at that price point. G.D. Jackson, if they have everyone healthy, probably a bit overpriced. And then if Pippen goes back to the bench, a bit riskier because they have Gilliard as well. They also have Matt Hurt. Like, if Contrar's in, they have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. They have 10 bodies, right? So it kind of makes, everyone coming off the bench a bit riskier. Now, if Contrar's out and they start Pippen, then obviously I absolutely love Pippen. Even at that price point, I still really like Aldama. If they start Tillman, I like Tillman. I like Tillman at 5.3K. Vince very safe. Jaren gonna have to do everything for this team. I like him quite a bit as a spend up. What else? If Contra's out, like I said, they have more bodies now. GD would still be fine, but probably priced right. Roddy priced right. So yeah, I like Memphis, mainly the main guys. Also keep an eye, what they do with the starting lineup. They could do a number of things. They could move Tillman back to the bench as well, but seems unlikely going up against Cleveland. But yeah. Moving on to the Sixers. Joel Embiid out. Looks like Tyrese Maxey is going to try to play, or at least Nick Nurse is hoping he plays. Keep an eye on that. And we have Melton out, Embiid out, Batum questionable, Marcus Morris questionable. Now, if Tyrese plays and he's not on any type of limit, I absolutely love him at 9.1K. Would be one of my favorite plays on this slate and a really, really good spot going up against Utah. So, would love Tyrese Maxey here. I really like Tobias Harris at 7K. He's going to be their clear go-to guy right now. He's going to play 40 minutes. Good spot going up against Utah. Guy that can stuff the stat sheet. Been really, really good offensively as well. So I'm really high on both the Sixers main guys. Oubre has a ceiling at 6.5K. No issue with him. And then I like Paul Reed at 6K. Now, if, Morris and Batum are out, I feel a lot better about Reed's minutes. But, I would expect somewhere in the neighborhood of like 30-ish minutes for Paul Reed at this price point. Good point per minute guy. Still like him at that price point. Bev, if Maxey plays, would be priced right, maybe a bit overpriced. And then if Batum plays, he's fine, but priced right. And then if Batum's out and they start Morris, I do like Morris for value. I know it's disgusting, but would be a solid value. And I don't know if I go to like the Houses of the Worlds, the Springers of the Worlds. Now, if Maxey's out, that changes everything. Then I absolutely love Tobias Harris. Then I really, really like Patrick Beverley at 5.6K. Reed, I still like. Kelly Oubre, I would like a lot at 6.5K. If Batum and Morris plays, they probably go with the starting lineup of like Pat Bev, Kelly Oubre, Tobias Harris, Nick Batum, and Paul Reed. Batum would be fine, but still priced right. Morris would be playable, and then if you want to take darts on like a Springer, etc., it's fine. If Batum and Morris are out again, or Batum's out and Morris starts, I like Morris. If both are out and they start House again, you can go there, and then KJ Martin would be playable, Springer be playable as large field tournament darts. Moving on to Utah, so this team just pisses me off. They're getting blown out. They're running disgusting rotations. They just piss me off. Dunn only getting a first quarter shift and then a second quarter shift, only playing 17 minutes a game right now. So more of just a tournament dart only for me. What else? Keontae George got his minutes trolled until the blowout, so another just tournament only dart for me. I like the guards at their price points in Sexton and Clarkson. I think Clarkson will probably play around 30 minutes. He's just been playing really, really bad of late. But if no one's going to play him at that price point, I do like him for tournaments. Sexton, kind of the same thing. And then Markkanen at 8.6K. Fine, priced right now, but fine. And then what else? The bigs, John Collins, Walker Kessler. Walker Kessler will play high teens minutes. At this price point, I actually have no issue with him. Really good point per minute guy. You give him like 18 minutes, he'll probably pay off this price point. So I think Kessler's solid. Same thing with Olynyk. He'll play like high teens minutes. Another good point per minute guy. I have no issue with him. And then John Collins should play 25 to 30 minutes at 5.9K. Seems, pretty safe. And I think that's going to wrap it up for the video. I hope you guys had a great night tonight, and I will talk to y'all in the next one.